Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk briefly on some news on Marvel, some definite news, and then some potential news. You'll understand when we get into it. We'll then move on to talking about the latest episode of Kite-Man, Hell Yeah, and then we'll talk about season 2 of Hit Monkey. So let's get right into it and talk about. So Agatha all along got, I guess you would say, like a new extended trailer. I guess is the best way to phrase it. A little bit extra right before the two-episode series premiere, where we get a little bit more interaction between how Agatha breaks the spell.
Hmm.
I put that in quotes because I have a feeling that even though that kid's saying he helped break her out, I feel like Agatha was kind of already out.
You're just giving her a lot of credit.
Well, no, I mean she was
I mean,
able to.
I get it, because she's powerful. So, like, obviously, like, she's, we hope that she's powerful enough to just be able to break the spell on her own. But
Well,
she might have just needed the extra boost from
well,
other
what I'm
people.
thinking, more of what I'm thinking is, I think it wasn't so much that she was stuck in the spell. She was kind of just letting it take its course because she couldn't break out of it. Like
Hmm.
as weird as it sounds, like she was like obviously she was put into it,
She was aware.
but she was aware. I
Yeah,
think it was one of those things because she lost her powers, she couldn't break out necessarily.
yeah.
But I don't think she necessarily needed the help to like figure out who she was.
Oh, yeah. No, no, no. I definitely don't think she needed that. But like,
But
like
it, but
how
it,
they
but I
how they hinted at the end of WandaVision, where like, all the characters were aware of what was going on, and they just were unable to control themselves because Wanda was powerful enough that they just, they were going through the motions. Um,
Well, so the it was the ones who were the furthest away who had the least control. Like she had the
they
least
were
control.
the when
They were
yeah
the
when
ones
they
that
were
were really
farther
like,
away, they
I want to see my
this
family, but
yeah.
they couldn't break out.
Yeah, but even though like, everybody, even everybody in the bubble still, like, after the spell broke, they were like, this torture that you were putting us through, we knew what was going on, but we couldn't control ourselves.
Well, yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like they yeah. But I think with the
But
difference
like,
with Agatha,
the ones closer to the edge, they had a little bit more freedom, because, like, they could kind of break the spell, but then when Wanda became aware of it, it was like, nope, you're
but they
coming
couldn't.
back.
Well, they weren't really doing anything, and they were kind of like, but they couldn't escape either. So they were like
Yeah,
literally in limbo.
yeah.
Um, but yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Agatha, I don't think is trapped as they're making her seem in the trailer. I'll say that, just because it's Agatha and she's a manipulator.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where if you make yourself look weak, which she's good at doing,
Yep.
people will come where she can then take advantage of. So anyway, then we meet this boy who I'm dead set is Billy Batson.
You're
No,
very
no,
no bad. No, that's the wrong universe.
Billy. It is Billy. Billy, I'm correct, but however, I got the wrong one. Um, I do believe it's Billy, who is an older version and possibly a reincarnated version of Wanda's son. However, in the trailer, Agatha asks who he is, and when he speaks his name, a spell goes over his mouth and nothing comes out,
Hmm. Yep.
which heavily makes me think that he is definitely Wanda's son. Um, we don't get to see too much more of the other witches, but obviously, apparently, though, we did get confirmation that Agatha has walked the witch's road before. She's the only
Yep.
one to have walked it and lived. Um, however, it is said that everyone pretty much dies, and it sounds like, according to the trailer, that a lot of now, granted, we've heard this in the trailer before, but it sounds like there's a lot of bodies piling up, and it most likely has to do with Agatha, which again
Yep.
shouldn't be all that surprising. She's a
No.
villain at heart. She's going to kill people. However, I don't think she's going to kill people. I put that in quotes, mostly due to the fact where it's like, think of it like, and I know this is a bad like comparison, but like with Jigsaw in Saw, he didn't kill anybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
put them in situations that they almost couldn't.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
they didn't have, if they didn't have the fortitude to get out, then they're dead. So
Correct. Not to say that he still didn't kill them and he's not a killer. I'm not arguing that piece. What I'm getting at is like, technically, she'll be like, I didn't kill him. And
yeah,
realistically, I don't think she would. Like, if push comes to shove, she would. However, I think her main idea was to be like, let them weed out themselves. So
yeah,
I do get.
absolutely. I mean, obviously they said it on the thing. It's like no one has survived this path except for you. So it's obviously she's using them as a scapegoat or
Well,
sacrifice. And then
that's the thing. Like,
like you said, if there's a situation where like if she's gonna die or someone else, she's gonna push the someone else so that
oh,
way she's gonna
without a
survive. So
without
like she
without
could
question,
definitely
without
lead
concern.
someone to. Technically, I guess she could be the cause of someone's death, but you know.
Yes. Yeah. I'm also very curious about what the Witch's Road is.
Hmm.
Know very little about it. I also think it might be something added to the MCU because a lot of these characters right now have, and again, I say it with a grain of salt because there is one that might, but as of right now, Agatha's the only character in this show that has ties to Marvel Comics.
From what we've seen so far, yes,
Well, all
yeah.
the names that have been announced are brand new characters to the MCU.
Oh, okay, okay. Aside for the possible of Wanda's son,
Well, the reason why I say that is because his name's not been announced. It's just
yeah,
Boy Wizard or whatever, or Boy. I forgot what it's. Boy something is his title right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like all the names that have been announced are not people who exist in Marvel Universe as of right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's cool.
Now that being
I
said,
like it when they come in with new characters.
but also to say that that does not mean that their names aren't being distorted until the show.
Also true. Yep.
But what I'm getting at is as of right now, I think this is the first time, to my knowledge, that we're getting like brand new characters to MCU in general.
Hmm.
Um, but we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's the complete first time.
No, we've gotten new
Um,
character,
but
original characters in the MCU.
but I think it's one of those things where it, we'll have to wait and see how this show goes because it might be the first time for something. I'll say that. So for now, that's pretty much all we have on Agatha until it comes out in 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks.
Two and a
Two
half.
weeks. Well, no, actually, it's by the time this airs, it's going to be 2 weeks.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be closer to 2 weeks than two and a
That's
half.
fair.
So yeah, and then Mike wanted me to say this because it's Mike.
I
Apparently,
left it up to you.
no.
So
Mike is like dying for
I
content.
said if you want to, fine. If you don't want
No.
to, I'm not
That's
going
not
to
how
lose
the
sleep over
conversation
it.
went.
So clearly, you're losing sleep over it, and I'm just going with the flow.
Well, what's
So
hilarious is you just told me today. No, you told me yesterday. Did you tell me yesterday?
I told you about the Professor X character yesterday.
Yeah. Um, and I didn't even think much of it. Just because it's all right. So apparently, Brandon Cranston um is considered a front runner right now to play Charles Xavier. However,
Post Doom Avengers Doomsday.
yeah, I don't know. It, uh, I have no issue with him being it. It's not that. It's there's been so many announcements of who's going to play
Mhm.
Charles Xavier that until it actually happens, I'm just not going to believe it.
No, I mean it's still years away, so I mean who knows what they decide to go with. I mean obviously they're going to need to get in some announcements in soon so that way they can start locking in characters and start building the universe. But I mean, for me, I don't really, I don't really have an opinion on how he is with to be Charles Xavier because I mean the most recent thing that I've known him from is Breaking Bad, and he's kind of psychotic. So I mean, yeah, he's obviously
I think it's more the fact is he's a great actor. He'll do well in anything.
absolutely. I mean, I mean, actually,
But
he was in the Godzilla movies. So I mean,
yep.
he's obviously been in
I
other
just
stuff
think it's
recently.
I just think like everyone that they've suggested to my knowledge to play Charles Xavier, I have not had a problem with, and I think would do great. However, until they actually like officially like do something with him, I'm not going to either get excited nor be disappointed at this point, just because
No, yeah,
it's been a lot of just talk right now for that character, and I just think it's like it's to me
I mean,
it's a
think
little
of think of it just as like just fan theories. I mean, we're fan casting all
no,
the time. So I mean,
that's true, but I think it's one of those things where it's like And again, it could also be BS too, because a lot of fans do the fake
Yeah,
stuff too. But
absolutely.
like my idea is, it's like as a studio, I wouldn't keep posting like character like people who are going to
Yeah,
like for a character that's not going to be as weird as it sounds introduced, even though he's already been introduced. You know what I'm saying? But
for
like
a
this
while.
particular
Yeah,
character's introduction for like years.
yeah.
Unless it's going to be like fully like 100%. This is who this is. Like I'm
The
trying to think of
thing
an
that
example. Like um
I mean, they announced like going into DC, they announced Superman and Supergirl a couple of years before the movie comes out. So I
yes,
mean,
but they're 100% going to be playing them.
that no, no, that's that I'm adding to
Yeah.
your thing. So like I
Like
was
it's
trying to
one
help
thing
your
if
point.
like it would be different if they were like this guy is 100% playing.
Hmm.
Like if they if but they're not going to.
The thing is like they're still doing auditions, and you never know once they lock in the schedule could
Well,
change, and it could
they
be like
realistically they also don't
schedule
know what they're
conflict.
doing yet either. Like realistically they don't.
I mean,
Like
they
when I say
probably do.
well, let me rephrase it this way. They're not confirming what they're doing. I'll say that.
Yes.
I shouldn't say that they don't know what they're doing because that's incorrect.
The thing with this
They're
stuff
not
is it's
they're
still
not
far
going to.
enough. They're still far enough out that they could have a like internal confirmation of what they want to do. But as time goes and they see reactions to what how the fans are reacting, they're going to change things and improve or just cut some things out completely.
True.
So, like you said, post Doomsday, so it's at least after 2026. Uh,
Yeah, and that's
you never
also a
know.
long way away, and a lot of things can change since then. So until we get to like as all whereas it sounds like mid 2025, and they're still going to keep that timeline, I wouldn't really
Yeah,
take. I'll take everything with a grain of salt, and not to say that anything's bad. It's just it means nothing to me because it's not
yeah,
factual. Just like
yeah.
a lot of like just things in that nature, and like like kind of with I'll use this as an example. Like kind of with all like the stuff that they were saying was going to happen in Multiverse of Madness.
Mm,
Like I took it all with a grain of salt. Like I didn't care. Like none of it, all of it, I didn't care. But I was like, until I see it, like none of it exists. Granted,
yeah.
we got stuff that I wanted for sure, but it was like it obviously compared to what was being said, it was not
I mean, if
like
you
it.
look at it from the most recent thing with Deadpool and Wolverine, there were so many fan theories going on, and then it was just
Yes.
the things that we got was just not what we were expecting, and we were not upset about.
No, no, 100%. It was. I'll say this though, it was exactly what I was expecting in the sense of being the end of the Fox universe.
Hmm.
However, not the characters we got were not the ones I would have
Yeah.
lost money on those bets
Oh, oh,
for sure.
1000%.
Like I would have never in a million years would have thought I was gonna get any of that.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, so yeah, let's go right into Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Hmm.
This was an interesting episode. This one was
I enjoyed this episode.
I don't think I realized that they took the anti-life equation.
No, obviously, as soon as the episode started and they had it, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh no, that's literally exactly what happened to me too. I was like, oh, so that's where it went.
Yeah. Just the last people that I was expecting to have it.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about the quick stuff first. Golden Glider was being affected by the anti-life equation.
Going cuckoo for coconuts.
Apparently, it makes so. This is how it's being described. That does not mean that's how the anti-life equation actually works.
Yeah.
The way it's described in this show
Hmm.
is that whatever you want, like whatever it is you want the most, it will manipulate you to try to get you to get what you want
Hmm.
in a weird way. So like for example, Golden Glider wants control.
Hmm.
So therefore, it's going to get her to do stuff to make sure that she has control.
Yep.
Where with Kite Man, who doesn't actually want anything, which is hilarious to me, it does not affect him.
No, no, it does not.
It does make sense though.
It affects people more too. Like you said, she wants control, but anything that involves like wanting power. So like she needs power to have control.
Well, it's
Where
so well.
Kite
Here's
Man
the
doesn't care about power and control. So
yes.
it's like it's like Whoop.
I think that was the big thing too, where it's like where the idea of the anti-life equation is to give power, right?
Yep.
We kind of know that for that piece. Golden Glider doesn't necessarily want power by itself.
Mm-hmm.
However, she wants control, and for her to get control, it's giving her power, which
Yep.
then is like, I want the power.
Yep.
And that's where that kind of goes into. So obviously it's manipulating her, which obviously shouldn't be all that shocking. But her being in control of her powers is terrifying.
Oh yeah. I mean, oh yeah. She's just going willy nilly and going ham on anyone that just ticks her off a little bit.
Yeah. Um, and so we have all that going on and blah blah blah. We get to meet Frank, who apparently is
He's moved up in the world.
he owns a spa. That's the reason why he got the land super cheap is because it's on a nuclear power plant.
Yep.
And spoiler alert, it was on a nuclear power plant.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, so that was kind of I like that. I like that whole concept. I also like that he turned on him,
yep.
but I also feel like I don't know if he necessarily would have turned on him had Golden Glider not messed up
His
like his
his
money,
business.
his
Yeah.
money basically.
Yep.
But yeah, it's also kind of cool seeing like people from Harley Quinn, because is Harley Quinn done now?
I haven't heard anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's done. Again, we haven't seen.
Well,
You and I haven't finished season 4, so
but it looks like they all have their own stuff going on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No,
So it's
I
like I
doesn't
don't know.
really. Again, because we haven't seen the end of season 4. You know, season 4 could have ended in a cliffhanger. Could have been a
Oh,
finale to the show.
so
Oh, you're looking it up
no, there is actually a season 5 coming out, and it's coming out this year. There is
this year,
yeah.
like 2024.
Season 5 of Harley Quinn is set to be released in 2024.
Okay. So
Um, however,
this final quarter of this year is going to be, just jam packed with stuff.
that means I have to actually like watch it and catch up. Oh,
Yep.
it's saying November. Oh no.
That's I mean, that's 2 months away.
No. I understand that, but it's still I have to like actually like oh shoot.
It's just that now we're starting to get cram packed with things again. So it's like, when are we going to get the time?
Correct. Plus, I have to catch up, which I think is the bigger issue. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, because I'm curious because obviously, Harley and Ivy are like rich, but like
Hmm.
they're second house poor, but they're rich. And Frank is now on his own thing. Clayface happens to appear out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm very curious in that. But anyway, so another thing
Well,
added to the
at
list.
at the same
Shoot.
time, just because they're doing, excuse me, just because they're doing things on their own doesn't mean they're just away. They, hey, doesn't mean they have to necessarily be around Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy 24/7.
Oh, no, I agree to that. I'm also wondering too, because of Kite Man, that they're like breaking it up more, where it's like this is our time to relax.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
But like literally, like that's what they're thinking.
Yep.
Oh, great.
What?
No, my camera just went out.
Oh, I saw you freeze. I thought it was just a little glitch. So,
Well, no, it technically is, but like at the same time, no. So hold on.
but
I gotta close that.
apparently, Villigans has a army of robots that she has a main robot that she controls from her headquarters, and she is able to track down Kite Man and Golden Glider. And she didn't track them down. Frank, like you said, turned on them, and they
Yes.
swooped in and tried to attack them. And that led to the power plant making Frank's resort no more. So
Yes.
um, they had hoped that by tossing the anti life equation into the nuclear reactor, it would destroy the anti life equation. Apparently, it results in the nuclear reactor going boom and the briefcase still perfectly intact. Holding. Well, on my end, it's still recording. So,
All right, sorry about the delay, everyone. Had some technical issues. So we're going to actually backtrack a little bit to talk about where Mike was going on about the CEO
We're
of
gonna,
Villigan's.
yep, we're gonna pick up with. Hold on, no, you said it was VOT, so we're gonna stick with VOT because apparently VOT is gonna sponsor our videos. So
Uh,
the
so anyway,
CEO.
so for context, is while we were trying to fix our computer issue or technology issue, I happened to say we're going to start where you were talking about the CEO of Vought, and I didn't register. I said it wrong. So that's why Mike's thinking this is so funny. But anyway, continue, Mike, and talk about the CEO of Villigans.
Don't get all upset now that I called you out on it.
No, no, no. I have no problem with it. I mean, clearly, I explained the context. I
You
said what
did.
I said. I'm not going to argue that one, unfortunately. I'd love to.
So, obviously, like you had said before, the CEO of Villigans had been called by Frank to that Kite-Man and Golden Glider are at his resort, so they showed up. Um, CEO of Villigans has an army of robots, and she is a main one, and that she obviously controls from her headquarters.
Hmm.
So while she's talking smack, the Kite Man and Golden Glider are trying to run away. So their brilliant idea is to run to the top of the nuclear power plant, toss the briefcase into the power plant, hope that the anti-life equation gets destroyed. Joke's on them. The
Well,
nuclear reactor.
it. I think it was one of those things where, and I'll say this: when they threw it in there, I was like, it can't destroy it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And then it blows up, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I guess in this universe it could just be blown up, and then it didn't. Like
Yep.
it
Yeah.
it blew up.
That's literally my mindset. I was like, that doesn't destroy the anti-life equation. Then it blew up. I'm like, oh, maybe it actually does. And then
It,
you look at it, it's like everything else is gone, and that's just perfectly intact. It's like,
I
okay.
think the other thing too was I think what killed me was it was the briefcase that was also survived as well.
Yep. Just no harm.
No harm to it whatsoever. But no, I went through a couple emotions on that and being like, really, we're just gonna destroy it like that? That's stupid.
Yeah.
However, so obviously all the robots are destroyed with the explosion. Somehow, Frank survives by being underwater, which doesn't make sense to me. But he's
Mm-mm.
also not a regular plant, so
Yeah, everyone else in the resort got annihilated, but Frank is just chilling under the water, and apparently nuclear radiation doesn't affect the pool water in this world. So
well, I'm wondering if it's not burning like burn, where I feel like because he's obviously made different, right? Because he's not
obviously,
a regular plant because he's genetically modified by Ivy. So radiation might not affect him the same way because he's genetically modified already.
I'll be honest. I feel like you're going on a stretch with that one, but I'll give it to
I
you that
also
at least
think it's
it's
just
some
Frank.
kind of explanation.
I'll also say it's Frank, and everyone likes Frank, so
And that's basically where I'm going with that. You
like
ain't gonna kill Frank.
no, no.
um,
But yeah, so it was just that was the only weird thing for me. All the robots were destroyed, and the episode ends with the anti-life equation just being there, and Kite Man and Golden Glider being like, "Oh,
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I'm curious where this episode is going to go in the end because I
there's two
feel like
episodes
it's
left. There's two episodes left, and I don't know where they're going."
well, my thing. So for me, my
This was
like
more. This was more a
obviously this is
season.
gonna be
This to me was more of a season finale. Like it could have been the
yeah.
season finale.
So like obviously we have two more villains that are after the anti-life equation. So obviously we have Lex
Lex and Darkseid.
and Darkseid, and Villigans is still around.
Yes.
Just because her army of robots got destroyed, she could easily make more. But like at the end of this episode, I'm curious what they're gonna do because at the end of this episode, you had the in memory of Lance Riddick, um, who
Oh
is the
yes.
voice actor for Lex Luthor.
I for a second there I was
Um,
like, I don't know who that is, but no, I do. Duh.
so obviously he must have passed away before this episode. Before I'm guessing he passed away before the show finished recording. So I'm curious if the I'm wondering if they're changing if they're going to change the voice actor or if they're just going to do away with Lex Luthor for the remainder of this season. Like,
My
or
my
I,
my
I
guess
my
would be
thought,
my guess would be is for at least this season have him not be a part of it anymore, being
Yeah,
like he's like planning something to try to get it for next season, let's say. But I have a feeling that that's probably what they're thinking.
because
At least for this season.
in my head, why would you put? This is just how my mindset went, where it's like, why would you put in memory of him before the season ended if he's going to be in the next two episodes? You know?
Which is making me think that he's not.
Yeah, that's kind of like how am thinking. So I'm curious what they're going to do because obviously Lex was a major part of it. So it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to
I mean,
see how they.
I think they're gonna have to decide what they're going to do in the sense of with Lex as a character, obviously. But I think for season one, out of respect for him, based on that, I'm guessing Lex is not going to exist anymore. Not to say he doesn't exist at all. I'm
Yeah,
saying like
no,
he's
I
just
mean
not
they're
going to make an
definitely
appearance
yeah. At the
anymore.
very least, if they take him out of season one, they're going to put him back in season two with a different voice actor.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like it's something that we always talk about where if an actor passes away in the middle of the show, what do you do? Do you recast him? Do you just let him go? Like obviously, like in
Was
this situation, it's not doing any disservice to him.
that was he
uh
Lex the entire time during Harley Quinn?
I don't remember.
Neither do I. Because I know there's been some voice actor changes already through this
Yeah.
show, but I think that had to do more with like it got canceled, then uncanceled, then recanceled, then uncanceled. Um, it really did. Like all joking aside, like that's not. I'm not wrong. Like it did. The show got canceled a few times because it was originally on DC Network, right, or DC Universe, and then that got destroyed, and then it
Yeah,
turned into
it was
Max.
yeah.
Well, no, it was like HBO Max, and then turned into Max, and then there were times where it was like because there was a gap in time between seasons.
Well, the question that like the show was always successful, so they were never canceling it. The
Well,
cancellation in question was when Max and Discovery, when Warner Brothers and Discovery Channel merged. So when they merged, they didn't like they were just the CEO of Discovery was like, oh, we're just gonna revamp everything. We're gonna because DC has been doing poorly, so we're just gonna cancel everything and reboot it, and they decided that Harley Quinn and Peacemaker were so successful that you know what, we're just going to keep it because those are going to, we're not going to ruin the actual cancel the two good things that have been going on for us. So that was the thing in question. Like that was
yeah,
during
but
that
but
time
you
frame.
understand. But my point I'm making is there was such a gap in time that nobody knew what was happening that I
Yeah,
feel like they also changed a lot of voice actors too during that time. Not necessarily the main cast, but Lex wasn't a main character in that show.
no, he wasn't. No, so it's not like that was like I said. I don't remember. So when like we talked about, we're gonna have to go back and watch Harley Quinn before season five comes out. So we're gonna get a refresher on characters that have been in and out of the
Yes,
show, anyways. So,
agreed.
um,
Um,
but yeah, like I said, I'm just curious to see where this is gonna go. Like, obviously, we have an idea that anti-life equation is still in play, so it's still gonna be a part of the show. It's just like now with one of the major characters possibly being gone, what are they going to do?
my guess would be that they're gonna go more focused on Dark Side than they probably were expecting, just
Mm,
because the CEO of Villigans has been defeated.
I mean,
Um,
yeah,
she has and hasn't. I know, but you understand what I'm saying.
yeah. I mean,
That's my thought only just because of what's kind of going on. However,
mhm,
I'll just be curious to see what happens because it's like I don't know. I I think that this could have been a good ending, like for the season.
yeah,
But I do understand that they already had 10 episodes, so I'm not going to argue. I'm just stating like this was a decent ending because it's like now what do we do?
yeah, absolutely. It would have been a good cliffhanger that I know would have irritated the hell out of you.
Actually, no, it wouldn't have. This would
Really?
actually no, because it's one of those things where it's like, well, they don't want to use it, and it's kind of in the same spot as it was before, where it's like,
What are we gonna do?
yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
fair.
It would have been different if like something came out of it. So like something came out of it, and then it ended, and then that was the cliffhanger, and then I would be pissed.
Okay, yeah, that I mean that is fair. Um,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to talk about Kite Man for right now.
yeah, no, let's move on to season two of
So,
um
is it true that you didn't like it?
no, no, it's not that I didn't like it.
Okay.
I just thought if I had to choose between season 1 and season 2, I thought season 1 was a much stronger season.
All right,
Um,
so here's my issue, right? I think there were parts of season 2 that were better than season 1 overall, without a
I
doubt.
will give you that. Like, so
However,
like the ending of season 2, I thought was phenomenal.
yes,
The last 3 episodes, I thought the show really picked up.
it was
But I
it
felt
was the
like I feel like the first 7 episodes were really hit or miss because
I'll say this. One of the things I had a problem with that I wish they kind of talked about more was like the artifacts.
yeah,
There were a
it
lot of
was like
artifacts.
it was like a little touch on the artifacts, and it, like you gave a little bit of an insight, but it was like okay.
Yeah, and then it like the main bad guys weren't even the main bad guys for long.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean from the beginning I was like okay they're sketchy, but it's like
no,
it
no,
didn't
no.
really
But I
like
mean, like I'm talking about like the guys who had the artifacts. Like they didn't last as long as I thought they were going to.
oh even those ones yeah
No,
definitely.
I'm talking about even like I'm yeah, like obviously later like yes, but I'm talking about like the very beginning. Like
Hmm.
oh, okay, we only have these four. No,
Yeah,
no, I don't even think it was four. It was only three, right? From the get go.
wasn't it 5 artifacts?
No, no, there were more. No, there were more than five artifacts. But
Well, no, 5 artifacts that we were going after because it was four of those
well, the
guys.
sword, the sword, technically they were after, but they had it, so that one I
Hmm.
don't count.
Well, I wasn't counting that anyways because it technically,
Because it was all right. So
what's her name had it?
it was the club.
Yep,
It was the
the eye.
no, no, no. There were two different ones. There was the medallion that was put into the forehead, and then there
Hmm.
was the eye. So
Okay, so that's 3.
that's three.
Then
Then
there's the staff,
the staff.
and then the sword.
What sword?
The sword that what's her that the cop had.
Yeah, but I don't count it.
No. So I'm
All
saying
right. So
5 in total, but
no,
4
no, no.
held by villains.
Then there was the bow and arrow.
I don't
The
remember that one.
yeah. So there was a couple of artifacts that were already taken before Monkey got even involved.
No, okay, so I'm talking. So like, what I'm getting at is there were 5 that was like heavily like part of
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
like
sorry,
story arc.
sorry, sorry. Yes, I apologize. I thought you meant how many artifacts in total. I was like,
No.
okay, so
I knew that there were more, but like there were 5 that were part of the main story. 4 of them were controlled by the elders, the eldermen.
yes, yes.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Also, so I'll say this: I definitely knew that the crew that Monkey teams up with was going to turn bad. However, I don't think I was registering that they actually were the ones that caused the problem in Tokyo.
Yeah, no, that I did not that I didn't register.
That one threw me off a little bit. Not first off, it worked. Like it made sense to me for sure. I'm not arguing that. What I'm getting at is it's just not what came to my mind. Because in
Yeah.
my mind, I was like, why would they let it go away? Like that would be
Hmm.
more my thought. And clearly shows that the cop was better than what they were expecting.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I also love Leslie Jones as the handler, the black lady.
Ah. Hmm.
She was hilarious. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. Like overall, like I like the idea of the artifacts. However, they didn't like really go into it too much, and like we kind of got shafted on a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of them just kind of were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Although I will say this, the staff one messed with me.
That was good. That one was
No,
good. Like
that was
that
so
like
good.
around that part was when I really started like, okay, the show's picking up.
That one messed with me because I was like, that's not at all what I was expecting. Like I was expecting like something. I was expecting like this big massive fight, which kind of sort of happened.
Yeah.
However, not in the way I was expecting at all. He was just like, "Nah, I'm done,"
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like,
Yep.
"What?" And then
It's
the wife
just
took over, and I was like,
just
"This
complete
is."
like the sacrifice. I was like I'm just like, okay, so wait, are they actually good guys that then they were like manipulating and then it like
I
turned
think.
out no, he was still a bad guy.
Well, no, I think in a weird way, like he originally did it for good reasons.
No, he did it for good reasons, but the artifact
However, he
corrupted
kept
him.
it. He yes, agreed. But like he knew it and was like, but like we continued to do what we were doing.
Yeah. Um,
And yeah, so that was. I think it was also kind of cool to hear like the backstory of it all. Like he gave us backstory that I think we really needed because it
mhm.
was kind of just like, oh, we're just in the shadows doing stuff, and I'm like, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Um, However, I'm gonna connect season 1 and season 2 for a second.
Mhm.
I thought that the Bonsai King's power came from the bonsai. However, it makes more sense to me now that he disconnected from the sword because the bonsai connected him to himself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when the bonsai gets cut, it's not that the power is going away, but he's losing focus and no longer in full power mode, I guess was the point I was
Yeah.
trying to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cuz I was originally thinking that the bonsai was his power in season
No.
1.
Yeah. It was just the connection to it. Like.
Yeah, the club guy messed with me because the going inside the ear and then popping out of the brain. Um that kind of messed with me. Just Bryson, like the whole devil concept, where the devil like really was the devil in the sense of like planning
Yep,
out
we
the
got to
out.
point. We got to point out that Scott yet again was so
No,
high on
no,
Mephisto.
no, 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 no. That's not how we're phrasing it. Because that's not how it is. Marvel has once again given us the idea of Mephisto without giving us Mephisto. That's what
Actually,
it is.
it was funny because like you said when we were doing our recording yesterday, it was like when you said, "Oh, it's Mephisto." I was at the end of the episode when he says, "Oh, it's just signing with the devil." I was like, "Okay, this is Satan." And I'm like, and then when we started recording last week, you were like, "Oh, this is Mephisto." I'm like, "Okay, never mind. It could be Mephisto." And then as soon as season two started and we saw who it was, I'm like, "Okay, not Mephisto, just
No, no,
plain
no.
old Satan."
Correct. No, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I'm like, Scott was wrong again.
Yes. Again, I'm not going to say that I was right. I was wrong. However, the point I'm making is just the fact of like it. It literally fits Mephisto's
It
bill.
does. No, it
Like
does.
meaning like
It's so funny that every single show you're just like, this is definitely Mephisto, and it ends up not being Mephisto. They're just giving you such big blue balls that it's like when Mephisto finally shows up, I can't wait for your reaction.
I'm
I
not going to
hope
believe
I
it.
I
Honestly,
hope for your sake that
what's
they
really
don't screw it up.
no. To be honest with you, it's going to be one of those things where I'm not going to believe it. Like that's not Mephisto. Like the time the
Where's
time
the swerve?
no the time it actually is going to be, I'm going to be like it's not Mephisto. It's somebody else. But
Well, he's going
anyway,
to be an Ironheart, so
no, no, I don't think so.
he's supposed to be. Yeah.
No, we talked about no. Remember we had this conversation. It's Dormammu who was the one that gives him the hood all his powers in the comics.
Uh-huh.
So if it's Mephisto, fine, but I don't think it is. Which means that which means you've heard it here initially that apparently because I don't think it's Mephisto, Mephisto is going to be an Ironheart. So anyway, away from that, the devil was actually really awesome. I'll have to say, like
He was
they did a great job with him, and like menacing, but also not at the same time. It was so weird. Like
very manipulative.
yes, more manipulative than. I don't want to say he wasn't powerful because that's not the phrase I want to use, but he used his manipulation more than his power.
Absolutely. He
And
he he knew how. I mean, he had his power if he needed to use it, but he's like, oh, it's more fun, it's more convenient just to manipulate everybody to
he can get people to do what he wants without having to use energy.
exactly. And I mean, he's already said it. Like his army is weak. He isn't as strong. He needs more bodies. So why extend his power when he's already weakening? So just have everyone else do it for him.
Yes.
So, um, which I loved that aspect.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's also a cool idea too, where it's like somebody who has power that's not relying on power. Like I
yeah,
know that sounds weird to say, but it's like I have all this power, but it's like I just know how people are. I know how to manipulate them, and they'll
yeah,
do what I'll get what I want without having to exert energy. And like
yeah.
realistically, that's exactly what he did. Because to be honest with you, that ending was not what I was expecting from the devil.
Definitely. No, that was a swerve. That was a weird
Because
swerve.
I was dead set he was going to take Bryce back
Mm-hmm.
because I had a feeling he
Absolutely.
couldn't take the daughter because the daughter wasn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was correct on that. However, like I was like, well, maybe he could, but like at the same time, I don't think he could because the
If
thing is,
if he was going to take the daughter, he was going to find like in in what they were doing with Akiko, they were going to try to have someone else kill her to punish him. You know,
yes. Also, like Lady Bullseye as a ghost was also not one I was expecting.
definitely didn't see that coming. But I, at the same time, like when we got her, I was a little disappointed with how little we got of her. So it was like,
Well, I'll say this. So let's talk about Lady Bullseye. Because I automatically want to say Lady Deathstrike, and we've talked about this a million times.
always.
But Lady Bullseye was more of a character to give Akiko her like spotlight. As weird as it sounds, like she was just like the
Yeah,
buzz off. But also, Akiko's past
that
was
was so messed up.
not anything what I was expecting at
Not,
all.
I feel like that was a curve. So like is like so like okay, backtrack a little bit because I feel like for me in the overarching of the show, I feel like the beginning of the show was really strong, and then kind of in the middle for me it kind of fell off because of like the whole like moral fight that Monkey was having. For me, that kind of just like hurt the show. Like,
So I think it was one of those things where it's like Bryce was Bryce was trying to do good in his way. Like
mhm,
he wasn't doing good, but he was doing good in his way, right?
yeah,
And then Monkey was just being like, I don't want to kill people, but it's like you don't want to kill people, but at the same time they're a creature. Like they were at that point where he was having his moral dilemma. The
yeah,
talismans were already in play, and they were clearly like needed to be killed. Like so,
yeah,
like in my mind, I was like, I understand you don't want to kill like random people. Fine, I'm okay with that. But
yeah,
like you need to kill the big guys. Like the big guys need to be
yeah,
killed. Like
yeah.
to me, like that was where I had my problem with Monkey. And again, you're absolutely right. That was kind of in the middle.
Yeah, so like it was like the beginning was really good. Like for like with Akiko and her past, like I was like, this is insane. And
Yeah.
like the build up. But then in the middle, like it kind of got hurt with the moral dilemmas and just like the quick of how the aldermans were quickly getting dealt with. And then it really picked up again after like I would say probably episode 7 was when it like started picking up again.
Sorry, I had to
Um
look at something. I apologize.
that's fine. And so like that was for me. But like yeah, Akiko's past with how her uncle kind of just didn't want her and then like she was getting bullied nonstop and she was very violent and like I didn't expect that. Like obviously after season 1 didn't was not expecting that of seeing her personality.
Well, here's my thing, right? So it seemed to me, and this is how I took it. And again, I think you probably feel the same way. However, you have a different perspective on it. To me, she lost her family, right? And she had nobody, right?
Yeah.
And her uncle. It's not that her uncle didn't want to take care of her. He
He
didn't
didn't know
think he
how
had
to.
the time. He didn't have the
Yeah.
time, and he thought she needed something more structured. So take her to a boarding school. Which, to be fair, wasn't the worst thing in the world because he's not
Mhm.
just like up and leaving her because it's like you know what she needs something structured. I'm not gonna be able to give it to her. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks bad, but like not really.
Yeah.
Then she starts losing her stuff. Beats like granted she's being bullied, but
Mhm.
she then loses it and starts wailing on girls, right? And then gets put into a sane asylum, which obviously the uncle finds out about and is like, she's not crazy, like she's got stuff she needs to deal with. So when she deals with uncle's there as a savior, and that's her anchor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
When her anchor went away, regardless of what her uncle was doing or did, right?
She snapped.
She snapped again and went back to that childlike state of anger and rage.
Yeah.
My issue with her, I'll have to say, was like I wish we would have gotten more of a build up for her because she killed Lady Bullseye way too quickly.
Yeah, that's like what I mean is like it just like she got her first kill and then that
Well,
was
no, it
that
wasn't
was
her first kill. So like,
well
as weird as it sounds, like it was her first kill, but like then we saw her on the ship where everyone was dead.
so like that's what I mean. Like we got the first kill with uh, the guy coming after her, and when she got the kill, excuse me, when she got the kill, it was like a quick jump where it's like, okay, now this is no issue for me, and I don't need you anymore. So
Yeah.
it's like it was. I feel like the season kind of, even though like the middle felt for me felt kind of slow, there were parts of it that were rushed, and Akiko and Lady Deadpool I felt was that part that was
I'm sorry, who?
Lady Bullseye.
First off, I want to ask a question. Do you know who you said?
I said Lady Deadpool, didn't I?
Okay. Yep. No, I just want to. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that you knew what you said because sometimes I don't know what I said. Like I'm assuming I'm saying the right person and I'm not, but I just
Yeah.
was curious. So
as,
I
as soon
think
as soon as I said it and you like gave me that face, I was like, well.
honestly, in my opinion, I thought in this season Akiko didn't need to be there.
For the story that they went, I feel
Yeah.
like she was just a subplot that could have been a main focus for a season.
Yes, I agree, and I felt like she was kind of wasted.
Yeah, she was just there.
Yes.
It was like, oh, don't forget, you have someone chasing after you for revenge. When, like you said, like we said at the end of season one, clearly she's going to be a main focus. She's going to be the main villain, and she wasn't.
Correct, and that's kind of what messed with me. So I felt like she was kind of wasted. Um, I was kind of sad with like it made sense, but I was really sad with the death of the cop.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I was expecting her to take damage. I wasn't expecting her to die.
yeah. No, just not like instantaneous. Like if
Well,
she put up a
it
fight,
wasn't
but like
like it wasn't instantaneous, but like I get it.
yeah, no,
Um,
that was sad. I was a little upset with that.
but
I
also
that
the
was
amount of death on those last couple of episodes, man.
so much when the humans were getting like I guess transformed into into plants. Like it just like like not even just the death, but the violence that they were showing for it. Like that was brutal.
Yeah, yeah. I also find it weird too. So this was one of my issues, right? Now, again, it's not an issue with the story because it makes sense. But like it made it seem like they wanted to start the world brand new without having somebody controlling everything, right?
Mhm.
But yet he controlled the artifact. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
I
contradicting
mean,
himself.
you have to realize that he was insane. So things don't have to necessarily make sense.
So you know what's funny? I'm glad you bring that up. So I knew there was something off with him because he was way too cool and calm,
Yep. Hmm.
but he had bags under his eyes the entire season. So like I was like, what is up with this guy? Because clearly he's not sleeping.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on.
Yeah. His whole brother situation was creepy in itself.
Hmm.
That messed with me a lot. Um,
I didn't realize that the Boone and the other guy was brothers. Like I didn't. I don't know if they. I don't remember if they had stated it at the
well,
beginning.
they did and they didn't. Like it's one of those things where it's like, "Hello, my brother." Like it was in a way that didn't sound like they were actually brothers. It was more like brothers in arms, is how I took it originally.
Yeah,
I didn't register for a while that they were actually blood brothers
yeah. Until they actually showed like,
when they
oh,
were
my
younger.
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that they didn't click in my head.
yeah, and then the mind mall messed with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I felt bad for the little girl. The little girl like had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, she was just there for the ride, and she thought she was doing good, and just was being manipulated. Like I felt bad for her.
Um, she was the only one I actually like felt bad for,
Mm.
cause like Bryce being like the hero kind of surprised me too. I just like
I
how I think my favorite thing about Bryce was him going into his human form, turning into Marble, and being like, "Gotcha, bitch," and then leaving.
Yeah, and then just the human form comes back, no issues. Like I'm just like I feel like this isn't how it's supposed to work out.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like, and this is how I take it: his human form can only last as long as he's alive. As weird as that sounds, right? So like he dies, it then goes away, right? But then he can turn it back on because he's still got the 20 whatever hours.
No, I mean like I understand the like the how it like how it works, but it's like it's one of those trippy things where it's like how this is legit how it works, or is it like
Well, it's one of those things where it's like it also come to find out that when the timer went out, he gets his regular body back.
Yep,
So like
which was unknown to him.
no, but also why would he tell him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he would have wasted it right away.
Uh huh.
He was saving it.
Manipulation.
Correct. Oh, no, absolutely. So he was saving it and everything else, which I thought was kind of cool.
So I'll be honest, like at the very beginning, I had looked up to make sure that because I was like, okay, this is Satan, but I looked it up just to make sure it was Satan and not, just like you said, Mephisto or whatever. So after episode one, I looked up like, oh, Hit Monkey, is this Satan, whatever, and it got in like the first thing that popped up was a spoiler that that Monkey had been killed at the end of season two. So I was like, oh, I'm like going through this entire season, like, okay, when's he gonna die? Is this the spot? Is this the spot? And I was so annoyed. So then when it finally happened, and it's like, oh, okay, so this, because I was thinking that maybe there was going to be a season three, and then when you were telling me that that they could have it be season three with the way they ended it, I was kind of curious how they would make that work because with Hitmonkey being dead,
Yes, but you understand what I meant after you saw it, though.
now I saw what happened. I'm like, okay, they can continue this if they want.
So like that was more of the point I was making, where it's like not in the way you think, but like it
Yep.
still can.
Yeah.
And that was kind of more of what I was getting at. But yeah,
Yeah,
overall,
absolutely. Now I totally understand, and like I said, it was just confusing for me because I hadn't seen the ending, and me knowing how it ended, it messed with me.
yeah.
If I hadn't seen that spoiler, I obviously I wouldn't. It wouldn't have been an issue for me. But um,
Oh, that's interesting. So I'm looking up the cast. So the guy who plays Fat Cobra, the one with the electric feet, also voiced Silver Samurai.
oh,
The woman who played Lady Bullseye also voiced Yuki, the spirit.
really?
I did not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Huh? Okay.
I was a little surprised by that.
Who voiced the devil? I don't. Obviously,
I
I recognize.
so I think I knew who it was.
I
So
recognize the voice. I just
so I'm
can't
gonna say this.
put the
I'm
face.
not gonna look at it yet. I'm gonna tell you who I thought it was. I thought it was
Okay.
the guy who voices Darkseid in Kite Man.
Possible. I feel like the voice is a little bit different, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's wrong.
Okay, why? Oh, here it is.
Um,
Keith David. Yep. No, I'm right.
oh, it is. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
he
yeah, obviously, the voice was distorted slightly, but
Well, I think that was kind of the point because he's like a
yeah, he's a
spectral.
spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Although. Oh no. We haven't been lying about that. He's just literally called the devil. Never mind.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he had as stupid as it sounds, I thought it was going to be Satan, but no, it's literally just the devil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Satan and the devil are the same thing. So.
No, I know, but it's just one of those weird, like little caveat things.
Yep.
But anyway, um,
But yeah, I did like I said, I didn't hate the season, but I didn't love it. I thought season one was much stronger overall, but it definitely had its moments where season two had bigger moments than season one.
I'm going to agree with you. Like the second half of season one was like the overarching best part. However, like meaning like for a long stretch of like being good.
mm,
However, the last three episodes of Hitmonkey season two was the best. Period.
oh yeah, I mean, let's put it like in terms of even just like the main villain. Like season one had an incredible plot twist for who the main
Yes.
villain was.
No,
Whereas
absolutely.
season two, we're going through it and it's like, all right, we already know what's going on, basically. So
Well,
it's
we
like,
kind of knew where the twist was going to be. There were twists that we weren't expecting for sure, but they weren't as
the
big as like later on, like in season one.
yeah.
Like season one, we were dead set. We knew who was behind everything, like and everything else. Like this one, we knew was going on, and we were actually right about it for the most
Hmm.
part.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
the only big thing for me was that the devil was working with the the mercenaries, which was the only thing that was a little bit surprising, but it made sense.
That's true. Yep. That was a twist.
But that
Um,
wasn't like a major twist where it was like I already knew those guys were bad. Like it wasn't like
yeah,
the devil didn't change anything for me. Like it
yeah.
wasn't like, oh, I thought these guys were like wholesome and innocent the entire time and then the
Hmm.
devil popped up. No, I thought they were bad from the get-go. However, the devil like solidified it. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
didn't know the devil was there. That's what I'll
Yeah.
say. The devil was the
Yep.
one that surprised me. And the devil like had a lot of twists, and I got to give him credit for.
Yeah. No, a master manipulator.
Oh, 100%.
So
100%.
manipulating the audience too.
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely. Um,
so yeah, I mean, I'm glad you had me watch this. It was
it was better
if
than
they
I was
do
expecting. I'll say that.
yeah, if they do a season 3, hopefully it doesn't completely ruin it.
Well, you know what's
Hopefully
funny?
it.
So I'm looking up. They're going to have a Hit Monkey season 3, and what comes up is what makes me laugh, is because it comes up like from 2020 or 2022,
Mhm.
where they're saying that there was no chance of it being renewed for a season 2.
Oh, well.
So I'm not seeing anything. Oh wait, as of this writing, neither Hulu or the makers have confirmed the season 3 yet.
Yeah, you never know. So
Well, I mean, the whole idea is it's like they don't have to because it ended and it
yeah.
ended okay. Um, but like they left it open enough they could go either way.
Hmm. Absolutely. Just like with season 1.
Actually, yeah, no, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I definitely enjoyed it. It wasn't anything like like there were parts that were super incredible, and other parts that were just kind of like eh. But overall, it was a decent show, and I was actually very happy we saw it. But yeah, so if there's nothing else, Mike, let's go right into your character spotlight.
Yep. So before I get into the character spotlight, I have to ask: do you know who the monitor and anti-monitor are?
I have no idea what you just said to me.
So in DC Universe, we have these two, I guess, godlike beings. They are, what are they called? Oh my god. Anyways, they are the godlike creatures. They basically help create the universe where everything okay.
Yeah, you heard that too, right?
Yeah, I did. um, there is the monitor who creates life in terms of everything being made of out of matter. And then there's the anti-monitor who creates the universe out of antimatter. So it's like a positive universe and a negative universe, and they are basically always in clashing, where it's like positive universe, negative universe. One can't outweigh the other without there being total destruction.
They need each
Well,
other to exist, even though they don't like each other.
yeah, I mean they're brothers. Um,
So I
so
didn't say anything wrong.
no, so in 2018 we got introduced to a third brother, and this brother is called Alpheus, otherwise known as the World Forger. The reason why I'm looking at him is because there is another rumor going around that um, he is potentially going to be a main villain in the Superman movie coming out next year. So if this becomes a villain, I figured give a little bit of a touch up for him. Um, so the World Forger, otherwise known as Alpheus, is the first son of uh, Perpetua and the brother of Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. Um, just so you, where did it go? I just, um, well, that's, yeah, there we go. Okay. Um, Perpetua is was one of the hands of the greater omniverse. So she was the first creator of the multiverse, and like I said, the mother of the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger. So the The World Forger was assigned to the World Forge, which is a place deep in the dark beneath creation to create universes from the fears and feelings of every living being of the multiverse. The most stable universes rose into the Warrior of Worlds, and for the unstable one, Alpheus will dispatch uh, his pet dragon, his name is Bartabos. Um, Basically, anyone who didn't fit into his created multiverse, he would send his pet dragon to them, and his pet dragon would kill them, so that way he can take their matter back and try to fix the multiverse.
Okay.
Um, Along the way, some point, his mother, Perpetua, was imprisoned in the source wall, which is like a barrier between the multiverses. So it's like if you get imprisoned there, you're trapped.
Okay.
Um, so once she got imprisoned, they tried to reset the multiverse, and eventually his pet dragon turned on him and ended up killing him. By killing him, this ended up corrupting the World Forge and set everything made everything unstable. Eventually, Barbados, the dragon, was defeated, and once he was defeated, uh, the World Forger was reincarnated. And once he was reincarnated, he continued to look for souls and create multiverses to create the perfect universe. So essentially, like I said, the monitor is the universe. The monitor is basically the main universe of the DC universe. So it's matter. It's how we know it. Let things play out. Positivity, whatever. Then there's the anti-monitor, who is the universe of negative antimatter, bad things. They can't come together. The anti-monitor constantly tries to overtake the monitor, and they're just back and forth. That's actually the Crisis on Infinite Universes comic series. Is basically what happens if the anti-monitor comes in and destroys uh, everything that we know. Uh, all those universes getting destroyed, it's because the anti-monitor is coming in and killing everything. And so essentially, the World Forger is kind of in the middle. Like I said, he takes the emotions of every living being in existence and tries to create the perfect universe for for the living beings. If they do not fit his perfect criteria, he sends his dragon to kill them, absorbs them, and tries again. Um, he's kind of just like in the middle. His job is to just create endless universes until he finds the right one.
Ah.
So some powers and abilities. He hails from the sixth dimension. He possesses the power. He possesses powers beyond imagination itself. He is one of the four most powerful beings in the entire multiverse. Individually, the World Forger only harnesses the energies of the World Forge, but can manage with his brothers to form the even more powerful Ultra Monitor. Which the Ultra Monitor is basically just the three brothers fusing into one.
Okay.
He has an ability called the Crisis Anvil, which when a crisis occurs, a Crisis Anvil appears before the World Forger. He strikes his hammer to descend a new multiverse to replace the former one. The life energies of every living being of the former multiverse who has a place has now a new place to be transferred to the new multiverse. So, like I said, kills it, takes the energy, creates a new one, trying to make the perfect universe. He has the ability to alter reality. The World Forger creates form from idea and hammers everything into existence. every strike from his hammer creates a new universe. He also has the ability to write every rule for each reality he makes. In the sixth dimension, he creates a futuristic utopian replica of the multiverse with its own version of the Justice League and hypertime. Um, he has cosmic awareness as one of the three cosmic entities. Uh, he just has vast knowledge of how every reality works, and um, he has immortality. He can be resurrected. He can metamorphose. Um, the funny thing with him is one of his aliases is um, an elderly Superman. So you can see who he admires. Um, he can obviously alter his size. I this word precognition. Um, he can see into the future, but not just shortly. He just knows all of existence. He has superhuman strength, superhuman durability, telepathy. Um, he has a very strong psychic link, and he not just one. He can't have a psychic link with just one. He can have it with multiple beings. He has teleportation, photokinesis.
Kinesis.
Um, so that's just he can create holograms out of thin air. Energy absorption. He can he has dimensional superstructure, which basically anything that he imagines he can create, which would go along with his name. And again, energy projection. He only has two weaknesses. Power limitation, which is as a monitor, the world Forger's powers will reign greatly on a lower plane of existence. So if he's not in the sixth dimension, he gets weaker. And then he needs his hammer to forge things into existence. And if weakened to the point he cannot strike his hammer hard enough to spark creation, he cannot create or create an alternate universe. So if he does not, basically the two kind of coincide. So if he's not in his realm of existence, he loses strength, and the longer he's out of it, the weaker he becomes. He can't continue to create. So he's kind of limited to his own. He is limited to his own dimension. So, like I said, that was my character. I thought it would be. I heard that this was a thought process for a villain in Superman. I think it's kind of far fetched to be Superman's first villain, so I don't think it would be in this movie.
I was gonna say it doesn't make sense because that's too big of a like universal thing.
Yeah,
That's to me that's more of like a Justice League thing.
this would be like if the DCU is a success, this would be like equivalent to Endgame kind of thing.
Yes, like the Infinity
Um,
Saga type area. Yeah, I know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
So, and I mean, this guy isn't really even like a villain. I mean, he's
No,
just
but he can be.
he can be, but he kind of he keeps things in check, which obviously from our perspective, if our universe is getting destroyed, we don't want that to happen, so he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my character, Alpheus, otherwise known as the World Forger.
All right. Well, everyone, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Next week we're going to be talking about just Kite-Man? Question mark.
Should be just Kite-Man. Yep.
Unless we want to start talking about Harley Quinn to force ourselves to catch up on it.
I don't know if we'll be able to handle that. Isn't season? Oh, hang on, how many episodes is season one? Because if it's only 10 episodes, then we could
Oh no, I'm not saying
try.
do it all. I'm not saying do it all.
No.
We have
I'm
to.
not saying by the season.
Yes. Yes.
I just want to see how
It's
many
13.
episodes.
Something's telling me 13.
Um,
I
Harley
could be wrong.
Quinn. Um, let's see. Season 1 had 13 episodes.
Okay.
So if you want to, we can try to make it work. Um,
I think
like I said,
yes.
we will have to look and see if there's anything else coming out. But I don't think there is.
I
But
don't think there's anything until the middle of September.
yeah, I don't think there's anything until Kite-Man is done because it's Kite-Man finishes, and then that's when Agatha and Penguin start.
Yes.
Well, actually, we have it's
So the
Kite-Man
first, so you know, the first
recording.
two seasons of Harley Quinn are 13, and then 3 and 4 are just 10.
3 and 4 would be a little bit more manageable. At
Yes.
least for me, with my schedule at the moment, it's kind of been tough to keep up with the shows.
No, I understand. Understand. Well, that's why I'm saying like we just try to catch up on it, because I think
Yeah.
if we do season 1 and season 2, right, before those shows start, meaning like Agatha and all them, once those two are done, Penguin and Agatha, I think there's a little bit of a break in between where we can then
Mm-hmm.
watch 3 and 4 and then be ready for season 5.
Wait, what do you mean there was a break in between?
There's a break in between after Agatha's done and Harley Quinn starts.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Kite Man to Agatha and
No,
Penguin. I misheard you. So
no,
okay,
you did mishear me. You just no, you didn't mishear me. You just decided to make up your own stuff. So anyway, we're gonna be
you
talking
do it
about
all the
Harley.
time.
We are gonna be talking about Harley Quinn season
Scott
one.
doesn't like it when I
We
throw
are
things in
going to
his
be talking
face.
about we're going to be talking about season 1 of Harley Quinn and the latest episode of Kite Man Hell Yeah. And obviously, we're going to be talking about anything else that pops up. But for right now, that's going to be it.
I
So
want
if
to
we
also point out that I like that Scott thinks by covering the camera, it's going to get me to shut up.
so anyway, if you made it this far, like I said, like and subscribe. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel podcast. That's enough of Mike's shenanigans. Goodbye.